Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld at the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, August 11th, 2019. Looking at fire potential impacts for today and tomorrow, we are looking at some showers and wet thunderstorms across the mountains of central Idaho today, along with the potential for some dry and breezy winds across southeastern Idaho. As we move into Monday, we'll not see any significant fire potentials, and we are looking at gradual warming and drying through the week. Over the past 24 hours, there was some precipitation across portions of Nevada and Idaho, with the heaviest precipitation across the mountains of central Idaho. There was quite a bit of lightning associated with some of these storms, as you can see from the lightning map on the right. There was moderate initial attack activity across the Great Basin yesterday. Conditions have been drier across the past 7 days across the Great Basin compared to the past 30 days, as you can see from the two images here. However, we have had a period of cooler, wetter weather over the past 7 days, and it's kind of hard to see that reflected in this map, as much of that precipitation fell as thunderstorms. ERCs are generally below the 70th percentile across the Great Basin, with the thunderstorm activity that moved across the northern part of the area along with the cold front. ERCs dropped pretty significantly across the northern part of the Great Basin. You can see that trend reflected here in the ERC point map trends. You can see those green lines taking a pretty sharp nosedive over the past week as we've seen cooler, wetter weather across the area. Live fuel moistures continue to be right around average. Some stations reporting a little above average. This is all sagebrush moisture, and it is generally in the area, the range where it can burn across the Great Basin. So that sagebrush is burning as you would expect in the middle of August. Looking at 10-hour fuel moisture, it's interesting to see across southeastern Utah how those 10-hour fuel moistures have come up with monsoonal moisture that moved through the area over the past few weeks. Still quite dry, however, across portions of western Utah and central and southern Nevada. Satellite this morning shows a weather disturbance moving through the northern part of the Great Basin. For today, we are looking at rather dry air in place across the Great Basin. You can see the red colors on that height map on the left showing the dry air in place, and no highlights on our significant fire potential map. Looking at today in more detail, the image on the left shows the wind gust forecast for this afternoon. You can see some really gusty winds expected across southeastern Idaho, but relative humidities will generally be in the 20 to 30% range in those areas. Looking at Monday, we do see a slight increase in moisture across the area. We'll start to look at high pressure building across the Great Basin, which will lead to the beginning of our warming and drying trend. Looking at Monday in more detail, we're expecting very light winds across the area, no wind gusts to speak of, and looking at relative humidity, a little drier across the area on Monday. So moving to Tuesday, again, high pressure in place across the Great Basin, nothing too significant to speak of on Tuesday. And looking at the winds and relative humidity, again, really light winds across the area on Tuesday, as well as those low relative humidities. Over the next 3 days, we're really looking at dry weather. The mountains of central Idaho could see some precipitation, but other than that, very dry across the Great Basin. As we move into Wednesday, not too much of a change in the pattern, just really looking at a continuation of the warming and drying trend that we're expecting to see over the next few days. And as we move into Thursday, we are looking at increasing winds across the northern and western portions of the Great Basin as the weather system begins to make its way towards the area. That will move to the north on Friday, which will likely result in some increasing winds across the area on Friday. And finally on Saturday, still looking at being influenced from that low pressure system in the way of the potential for some gusty winds again across the area on Saturday. Over the next 7 days, really, it's looking quite dry across the Great Basin. Any precipitation that falls today across the central Idaho mountains will really be it for the next 7 days, so a much drier period in store for the next week across the Great Basin. Then finally, looking a little further out towards the end of August, this is the 8 to 14 day outlook, and it is calling for above normal temperatures across the southern part of the Great Basin, below normal temperatures across portions of Idaho, and below normal precipitation across the entire area. So we are looking at this dry period to continue. That's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.